Hello there. 2 and on morning is quite something after none for over 12 months. But here we are. So I'm just going to throw out there the idea that if you can't feel or see, and I'm putting air quotes around see because it's not usually actual vision, but it's knowing, and saying that you can see it when you know it is just a way of describing it, really, in words. But if you can't feel or see what's actually going on in a situation, then you're going to need to fall back on kind of, book knowledge, prior experience, blah, blah, blah. Autopilot stuff, because you're not really going to know. And so I'm just thinking about, with everything that's kind of going on in the last few days, but also the last few years, or you can go back as long as you want with this, I can see that the game really is, in a lot of ways, around the fact that a lot of people can't see or feel what's going on. And a good way to make sure that happens, or to maintain that situation, is trauma. Because trauma, if you've ever been in an intense or traumatic situation, just physically or emotionally, you get tunnel vision. Like the edges go black, and you can only focus on, what's right in front of you. Your peripheral just disappears. And so, and even then, the what you're looking at gets fuzzy. Like you really, you don't know what's going on. So to traumatize people, or to make what's going on hugely traumatic, is a great way of funneling down the vision, so that the chances that you can actually see or feel or intuit what's going on are vastly reduced. But also, you'll get this kind of flight or fright panic mode, which will kick you back into running on autopilot. And if your autopilot is some traumatic experience from your childhood, and let's face it, most of our childhood for all of us, has traumatic experiences in it. Not that they're a trauma for an adult, but for a child, like it's we've all had those things, not just accidents, but like socially acceptable and normal practices that are actually very deliberately traumas that you'll get kicked back into, that are not a traumatic experience for an adult, but your brain and your emotions and your physicality will experience it as a trauma, as if you're 3 years old, 5 years old, whatever. Very, very deliberate tactical stuff to keep your field of vision super narrow, so you can't actually see what's going on, and hopefully to get you either joining the wrong team, like jumping on, because there'll be 4 or 5 different teams in a given thing, and perhaps all of them are going to be distorted, or team distortion. And it's just to get you jumping on a team or into a group rowing in the direction of distortion, or sitting on the fence, because distortion also owns the fence. Either way. And so nothing happens, and everyone looks around and goes, hey, all these files dropped, all of this stuff, everyone knows all this stuff. Who's getting prosecuted? Who's getting hung? Where's the electric chair? What's going on? Why isn't anyone going after these people? No one's going after these people because of your trauma that you haven't dealt with, and my trauma that I haven't dealt with. And no one's going to go after these people except us. And we're not going to go after them out there in Hollywood, in political land, show business for ugly people. No, you got to go after them on your block. You've got to go after them in your family. No one is going to arrest a former president or a former prime minister sitting out there for something they should or shouldn't have done if you are not verbally, emotionally, and physically holding to account the person who did exactly the same thing in your family. You want to know why there aren't any physical... Maybe they were all arrested. Maybe the military took over 10 years ago, nearly worldwide, and they're all dead, and we're looking at clones or body doubles. Like, you don't know. I don't know. Welcome to the Truman Show. The reason why you haven't seen anyone being held to account is because you haven't held yourself to account enough, and nor have I. And you have not held that family member to account yet. Oh, well, gee, that's a bit harsh. Like, what are you doing? Trying to gaslight everyone? You know it's true. Oh, well, but the people in those files, they deserve the death penalty. But my uncle, my grandmother, it was there's circumstances, and it wasn't their fault, and it's generational trauma, and yeah, you'll make excuses for your family, but not for, because old mate's out there, right? He's not tribe, he's not family, so F him. Monsters, demons, let's get them. Well, yeah, the monsters and the demons were working through them, or maybe were them all the time, but they were also working through your family. You want to see someone be held to account out there, you start holding yourself to account every moment of every day. And then, what about your close circle? Are you prosecuting anyone in your close circle for behavior? That's where it starts. It doesn't start out there. Out there is just like the earthly reflection of what goes on in close. But if you can't, you either get people either get and are traumatized into getting like whatever the two visions are, like, nearsighted or farsighted. Either all you can focus on is out there and you won't see it around you, or all you can focus on desperately is what's going on around you and you have no clue about out there. And so if you have not got yourself sorted enough, and by yourself, it's like you and then your immediate circle of the people you hang out with day in and day out, if there are any, if you have not got that sorted, there's no way you will ever be able to feel or see what's going on clearly. And if you can't see or feel what's going on clearly, then you're not even really a spectator, let alone a participant in what's happening. And you can have opinions and you can be used and you can think you're doing stuff, but you're not really, because you can't see and you can't feel, and you haven't actually got what you are in responsibility of, which is yourself. You haven't even got that sorted. You're not responsible for some Hollywood person or any sports person. God, we haven't even hit the sports people yet. Wait till that happens. The politicians, the high-ranking political army figures, military figures, like you are not responsible for them. Oh, well, people shouldn't have voted them in if they didn't. Oh, yeah, you thought your votes were counted. That's cute. Come on. People are rigging elections at the local SCON meeting, but they're not rigging national and international elections? Like, let's be adults. So there are people who are out there, this is the punchline, who are deliberately out there to guide you in a certain direction because they know you can't see. Avoid them. Avoid everyone. Only go near people who try to help you polish your glasses and regain your vision. Because everything else is a psyop.